Welcome back, everybody. Lostboys Cypher Circle is back in session. If you didn't know, this is the show where I bring artists of all kinds, whether they be authors or poets or traditional artists or rappers, or if you want to come on here and just have a conversation, we actually have a whole show dedicated to that. But I will get to that in a minute. But what you need to know about this show is that it is a safe place to express yourself free of any judgment. And I call it our weekly talent show, but also our weekly therapy session, because first and foremost, art is a therapy for most of us, and it's just our way to come on here and get out our inner thoughts and the things we got going on inside our head, and we do that through our art. And so, if you are an artist and you are interested in coming on the show, please message me on Facebook at Dylan Lawler or on at gmail.com. Lostboy420x at gmail.com. That's Dylan Lawler on Facebook, or Lostboy420x at gmail.com. Also, make sure you go subscribe and follow us on all the platforms. We are live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Yeah, Twitch. And then I am working on getting the audio episodes back up on all these other platforms, but still, please go subscribe and follow on all these other platforms because everything still helps. That's Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Audible, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and anywhere else you can find podcasts, you can find us. So make sure you go subscribe. And if you want to donate to us, anything from 10 cents to $10 will help. It's the one below that. Thank you. Lostboy420x is the Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal that you can donate to. And we also have a show that is dedicated 100% to just having a conversation one-on-one, kind of a one-on-one interview type style or free flow interview, if you could say that. We've done about 7 episodes with some of my favorite guests. Actually, one of them is going to be on here as a surprise guest tonight. And well, I just blew the surprise, but she's going to be on here as a guest tonight. And yeah, so if you'd like to come on and have a conversation with me one-on-one, please message me. Those are pre-recorded. Those are not live. Those are pre-recorded, and then that does give us the freedom to edit and play with that if need be. So if that's something you're more interested in than the live show, please message me thank you, Brendan, Dylan Lawler, or on Gmail. And make sure you go to YouTube and check out the past episodes and the more that we got coming for you. That's Lost Boys YouTube. So before we do get into the show, as I did mention, it is like our weekly therapy session. And it's a way for our sometimes to get our inner demons out. So sometimes, and it's not always demons to do with our physical, mental health. It could be just things that we see happening in the world that scare us, or that we want to fight back against, or whatever. But that being said, with all of those topics being brought up, it can get triggering for some people, whether it's triggering because we talk about a depressing topic, or we talk about a political topic, or we talk about whatever. It can be triggering for some people for any number of reasons. And so to that, I say, whether you're an artist or an audience member, feel free to click out at any time. It's not meant to trigger you. It is meant to just express our thoughts freely and get what we got out in here outward, and express it to the world. But if you are triggered in any way, feel free to click out at any time. And also, because it is a show based on mental health, I try to start with my biggest piece of advice when it comes to mental health, or struggling with any kind of mental health, and that is to not keep those demons locked inside, not to lock it up, not to bottle it up and let it eat you alive, because it'll take its toll on you. And I think the best way is to express it to someone, whether it's coming on here and doing this, or expressing it in your own art form, or just talking to a family member or a coworker or whatever it is. You got to let it out. You got to express it. So get it out there. And I promise you that even though you don't think someone knows what you're going through and exactly the pain you're in or the struggle you're dealing with, I promise you someone does, and I promise you someone is willing to listen. And all of us here in the Lost Boys community, I can't think of a single person who wouldn't be willing to listen. And that's what's so great about this community. So yeah, just reach out, and if you're looking for people to reach out to, you don't even have to come on the show to join the Lost Boys community. It's go on Facebook. It's the Lost Boys Facebook group. Go ahead and join that. There's about 150 amazing people in there that would be willing to talk to you any day of the week. And thank you, Brandon. We do have some professional hotlines that you can reach out to as well, such as lifelinecrisis.com. In America, now we do have an artist from outside the States on tonight. So, and I'm not sure about the hotline in his country, so I apologize. But in America, this is the Lifeline Crisis Hotline. If anybody would like to reach out, or they have like resources on their website as well, lifelinecrisis.com. And then there's also BetterHelp, which is, again, don't know if it operates in other countries. I apologize. But BetterHelp in America, it can hook you up with an online therapist. And if you don't like the therapist it hooks you up with, they'll switch you out free of charge until you find somebody that you do connect with. So, and I hear that it's one of the cheapest options. So I hope some people find some help there. And then there's always, as of course, this show, my personal brand of therapy that I try to bring you every week. So those are your the options I can offer you to seek help, and I hope that you do. I really do, because seeking help is the first step to bettering yourself in any way. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. But that being said, I'm gonna do two little pieces for you. They were both freestyles at the time, but I wrote them down, so they're now written, I suppose. They're like 30 seconds a piece. One of them's more a little aggressive. One of them's more I'm gonna do the aggressive one first and get it out of the way. And yeah, so the story behind this one is I had a long day at work, but the morning of work, like I was writing a few things and I was sending them to my friend Caleb, who many of you might know, comes on the show. And I told him that when I got home that night that I was going to write more and write a whole piece or whatever. That didn't end up happening because I was too tired. Next morning he messaged me and was like, "Hey, what did you write?" And I was a little frustrated. And I told him after I sent this to him that it wasn't a personal attack on him, but I thanked him for the inspiration anyway. So, you wake up in the morning, you're feeling like groggy, you're hangry, so I used that aggression to respond to his question. And this was the response to him asking me what I wrote. Yo, next time they ask me what I wrote, I'm going to have to answer back with a hand around their throat. Like, I should sit and pander to you hoes, and then you panic when I don't. Like, I vanished, hit the road, and abandoned all my goals. And apparently you're owed more than I can give you while I'm bearing you my soul. But would you fuckers ever really care if I did go? Is there enough who care about the merits of the show? Or is everybody scared to inherit all this terror that I hold? Tell me, would they fucking cherish it like 20 karat gold? Or would it all just perish and get buried in a hole? So don't ever fucking question what I carry on my shoulders, because you'll rarely find another man who stands a chance to hold it. And that is called Don't Ask. And I know, Brandon, you were looking for the title. You were looking for the title there, and I forgot to say it. I apologize. That is called Don't Ask. You can pop it up on the screen for a second if you want. By all means, yeah. That's called Don't Ask. And I also, that is not the first time I've performed that. I performed it 2 nights ago on the Immersive Experience hosted by Desi Lou. It's streamed on both her YouTube, the Immersive Experience, and my YouTube. Go check it out. It was an awesome experience, awesome interview. She's just a great host, a great guest when I have her on. Go check out that podcast as well. And then the second piece I'm going to do is called What a Surprise. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Oh, whoa. What a surprise. I'm up late at night and I'm drying my eyes. I tried to get by with a jar of moonshine, but the pressure had built up like water in pipes till it finally burst and I broke down and cried. I know they want the host that's composed and upright, but the truth is they've all been so hopelessly blind. I think it's about time that they open their mind. You see, what they perceive is my only disguise. If they only realized all these secrets I hide, if they only realized all these demons of mine have been eating my soul, I feel eaten alive. The truth is I'm this close to seeing the light. As more of the darkness seeps into my life, I just see more and more it'd be easy to die. See, it's not really easy just being the guy who speaks to these people each week, but I try. I preach to not keep it locked tight, but don't heed my advice. So, I mean, how is it real if it's steeped in these lies? And that is what a surprise. And those are just like quick little snippets where I didn't even write it down. I just hit the record button and wrote it down afterward after listening to it. So those were freestyles, and I might add to them. I'm not sure, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And let's get to our first guest of the night. To my man Jack, or Jaskarot. He is a artist and author from Lithuania. And he's got a story that has been just unfolding throughout the weeks and months of him being on here, and it's just fucking fantastic. I can't wait till it comes out. But for now, you guys can go follow him on Facebook at Jack Michelangelo Petkev. I'm gonna get this right. Petkevicius. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. It's gonna be up on the screen in a minute. And then you can follow him on Instagram at Jaskarot. That's JASQUE ROTTE. And then you can visit his website, www.buymeacoffee.com/Jaskarot. So make sure you go check that out and wait for updates when this story finally comes to light and you guys get to see it in its full entirety, because it's going to be fucking awesome. I'm telling you. But let me play his flyer and I'll get him up here. Hey, man, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man?
Welcome back.
So, yeah, I just want to say, I want to say a quick thing about your freestyle raps.
Yeah.
They kind of give a moment of humanity from your perspective,
Thanks.
because sometimes you just seem like this omnipotent entity that's just the host. This Lovecraftian fucking entity.
Trust me, I am far, far, far from it. Trust me.
Yeah. That's what you say. That's what you say, man.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now that this computer's like $200. The mic's $50. Everything else. This is a piece of cardboard. Okay, this chair is probably like $30. This table is probably like $10. Okay, it's like plywood. So trust me, I am far from omnipotent being.
That's what you tell the public, man. That's what you tell the public. I know your true form.
My little disguise. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, and it's been something I've been trying to do lately is like, I mean, my pieces are always a little vulnerable to a degree, but they've just been a little more so lately. And I can't really put my finger on why or what I've tapped into to like express more vulnerability, but there's something I've tapped into, and I'll let you know when I figure out what it is.
No, they have been pretty vulnerable and personal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've just been like treating it like a fucking journal entry, and just like who gives a fuck what people think? I'm just gonna fucking say what I say. And,
just spit it out, man. Just spit it out.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. All right, so you got this fucking amazing story that's been unfolding. For those of us who haven't been here, who don't know, you've been unfolding this story you've been writing chapter by chapter in front of our eyes, and you're gonna give us a quick recap of it. before you do another chapter or two. By the way,
Yeah.
how much are you reading tonight? I never even asked you.
I'm thinking of doing 3 chapters
All right.
for the complete event that's gonna happen today.
All right.
Uh, and I'm doing a recap myself because it's just getting pretty long, and I have the text file in front of me, so I just want to keep it more accurate.
Oh, cool. So you just wrote down a summary?
So no, I didn't. I'm
Oh,
just
so
I'm gonna whiz by. So okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, the story starts with a beaten, broken guy. He's lying there in a pool of his own blood, and some magical wizard comes along. He takes his bones as a magical sacrifice in order to give him fire powers, and the guy is left boneless and a flapping sack of skin and meat. And the magician gives him a frame, which he later melts into like smooth armor. The guy Jaska, his name is, and Jaska then meets a girl who's just small and just asks a lot of questions. Is just childish. Uh, they then go. Jaska meets the queen, who he has a history with, as we kind of find out. And while they keep fighting, they get distracted by a circus that's happening, and it's a freaky fucking circus. The runners, the people who run the circus, turn out to be the villains of the city. They're just high-profile criminals. They all three of them, Jaska and the two criminals, get thrown in jail. They have some dialogue in the jail, and Ferdinand, the main magician who is this high profile criminal who runs the circus, he starts freaking out about the void. And Matthias, who is the other criminal, and he's kind of his buddy, he runs over to him. He's trying to calm him down. And I'll just read the last line of the last chapter we read, which is when the queen Cassandra comes in and she has ice powers. I forgot to mention that she has ice powers. She says enough. She commands and freezes all the air in the prison. Jaska tries to react, surrounding himself in fire. Matthias, who has speed powers, glitches half his body out of reality trying to escape, and Ferdinand is still trying to fight off the ice. This alerts the beast. It smiles.
We
And
did have a whole chapter where Jaska fought her already, right? They had an ice versus
yeah,
fire
yeah,
battle.
yeah,
Yeah. They had like a
yeah,
fire, they had a battle. So that part was demonstrated that she had ice powers, and that I do remember that
yeah.
part.
And
Okay.
she's trying to hide it from all the entire kingdom because it's heavy magic, and heavy magic. She used that to accidentally kill her own father, so she's kind of hurt by that, and she's keeping the kingdom hushed about that. And this is where we are now.
All right.
This is
Well,
it's gonna get freaky.
all right. Well, I'm gonna drop myself off, and I'll let you get to it.
Okay, chapter 13, a basilisk. 4 bodies, void, all of them lost, all in their own ways. Then, without warning, they all feel it. A danger, a panic, a life or death moment stretched out beyond infinity. They all must scream, but they have no mouth. The scales of the beast, oh, the scales. They roll under all fabric of reality, under all their blood, under all their bones, muscles, and brains. They are more than inevitable. They already existed. It can finally see them, and they can finally see it. 2 yellow glinters blind them for eternity, then bring their vision back, just so they can witness the glory of the beast. They all look at each other with their new vision. One is a fleeting ember, one is a melting icicle, one is a worn rope, one is a cracking nut. But the power of four beats the power of one, and the beast knows this. Cassandra is the first to be sent back and snaps back into the prison. She deactivates her ice trap and stares into the wall. Then the beast sends Matthias out and then Ferdinand. They all stand in silence for a while and then look at Jaska, who is now on the ground, unresponsive, but his eyes darting back and forth in panic. After they realize they can't help, by Cassandra's order, he is locked away and left alone in Ferdinand's cell. 4 days go past. Adeline has been living with Auntie Doris since the Queen sent her home, but she's restless about Jaska. On the fourth day, she sneaks out of Auntie Doris's house and runs through the city to go see Jaska. She goes by the crooked part of town, with many one-eyed folk staring her down the whole way. It doesn't scare her though, as she's more scared of what's going on with Jaska, and even more scared of the war, which is being spoken about more and more each day. There have been two public executions held of people suspected to be ardent spies. Everyone feels like the fabled war machines will be knocking on the castle's walls any minute. Just as Adeline was thinking this, a large cannonball blasts through 15 merchant tents and stops on the ground right at the main hall's doorstep. Adeline panics. With tears blocking her vision, she scrambles through the rubble and bruises her knee after slipping on the cannonball. Two royal guards help her into the hall as lots of pikemen spew out of the entrance, running towards the main gate. Over here, girl, into the prison, shouts one of the guards, motioning for her to get away from the middle of the hall and into the prison on the left side. The rest of the royal guards clear the way as well, as arches of bricks form on the balconies above. A steady stream of mages spills out. They vault over the guardrail and run away in an inhuman precision. Their armored black robes catch the attention of Adeline, but she quickly remembers why she's here. Sniffling and sobbing, she runs, tripping over herself, to Jaska's cell. She's small enough to fit through the gaps of the gate and crawls over to him. She yells and begs him to wake up for a few minutes. Chapter 14. A Tragedy. Jaska is left alone in the void. The beast attacks in phases. First, a year of scales. They are menacing. They cannot even hide behind the galaxies. They threaten to crush him to the dust he came from. Then, a year of the two yellow glinters. He dies from the incomprehensible horror that is the two yellow glinters. But the beast revives his shriveled bodies just so he can die again. On the third phase, Jaska cannot take it anymore. He collects all his will, concentrates all the people he wishes to save on his journey. The basilisk hears his thoughts and laughs maniacally. The laughing pierces every cell of his body. It rumbles like nothing in reality. Jaska tries to control himself though, and sets the basilisk ablaze, which is even more humorous to it, even as it burns and shrinks. Jaska gets mad at the beast for not taking him seriously and starts shooting entire stars worth of flames, poking holes into the basilisk. It does nothing but laugh, though. It turns into a solid yet liquid black mass and encases Jaska. The age of the black mass begins. Jaska quickly finds out that the black mass is tougher than he thought, and actually tougher than anything anyone could ever think about. It takes him months to put out enough heat to fully destroy a single particle of this mass. All the while, it keeps laughing at his pathetic desperation. You will kill her. Obey me, a horrible voice proclaims. This gets on Jaska's nerves, and on the final year of blasting this, he has had enough. He concentrates everything he has, his entire source of power. He even phases into the realm of fire doing this, and the calming ocean of magma gets him enough control to focus his all onto the beast. Jaska wakes up, then he fires. Adeline's head is gone. So is the roof of the prison and three planets far, far away. Her body drops to the ground. Jessica, shocked by all this and the fact that he woke up, does not does nothing but get up and look at what he's done. The cannonballs of the war machines have nearly destroyed the main hall. Hellfire rains down on his beloved city, but he just keeps staring at her body. Okay, quick water break. Chapter 15, A Revelation. As Jessica looks, Adeline's body becomes spectral, stands up and starts walking. Jessica's only instinct is to follow her. She goes deep into the prison, and when she reaches a dead end, she phases through the wall as if it's not supposed to be there. Jessica takes care of this as he moves through it, his metal frame carving out a human-shaped hole. They continue deeper into some ruins, both Jessica's jets and Adeline's faint glow providing some light. They keep going, neither of them aware of how long it takes, until they reach a bridge over a large cavern. The bridge seems like it was made of some tough stone and made to last, as parts of it are completely missing without it having fallen. Only some wooden parts seem to hold it together. Adeline keeps walking far above them, as if the bridge used to be a lot thicker. Above the bridge, there is a stone plaque with an inscription: "Be this bridge burned, abandon all hope, ye who yet live." Neither of them notice it, and as Jaska glides behind Adeline, his jets burn the wooden parts, and the bridge collapses. They make it to a large stone hallway. It has lots of complicated parts, columns, and a curved roof, looking like it was extensively decorated in its prime. Neither Jaska nor Adeline stop to look. They continue on, as do the echoes of the rumbling of the bridge. People in burning robes emerge to stand along both sides of the hallway. They all, one by one, pull levers by their sides, opening up ancient mechanisms that allow tons of air to flow in from outside, fueling Jaska's torches to grow bigger and brighter. Other groups come out with bowls to douse Jaska in various liquids and feed his majestic flames, which thunder and roll in bright blues, deep greens, and faded purples along the hall. It seems the followers of ancient prophecy have chosen to embrace their doom. Adeline phases through a wooden door, and as Jaska is about to go through it, a wise voice bellows through the hallway. "Do not rest now, Flaming One. There are souls that need be trapped in lakes of fire. There are horrors that need your brightness. Go, see what this door holds for you, and deliver the curse of 1,000 burning suns unto these wicked." They all kneel with their heads down, their arms held low and limp, in the same way Jaska's arms, and stuck in place. Their robes and liquids continue to burn them, but none of them make a sound. They know what awaits everyone else. This is the easy way out. Jaska burns through the door. He sees a small, cramped cemetery and Adeline laying down into one of the graves, sinking into it. There is a gravestone with an inscription growing a bright blue: "Adeline from Tilventer, 11,041 to 11,050, falsely reanimated by the hand of magic." It sculpts itself to add, "Put to rest by magic." Jaska finally breathes in. All hell breaks loose. The cavern erupts in flames. He flies out past the hall and the bridge, passively disintegrating the followers, and then decides the earth will not keep him traveling for long, so he blasts upward through the ground. "Adeline!" he screams in pain, as he breaks through several layers of ruins, damaging his faceplate, but none of it matters to him now. "Adeline, I'm sorry." Tears flow from his misshapen face. He reaches the surface and sees the army attacking Rodana. He sees the dreaded war machines. Some combine the forces of different mages levitate thick steel plates covering pyromancers that spew flames from their mouths. More cannonballs whiz past Jaska as the Artan's final war machine enters his view. A giant monstrosity of wood, steel, fire, and earth make up the ultimate effort of these barbarians to destroy every last Rodantic citizen. He obliterates it. A golden white laser blasts them and destroys the planet's crust until it reaches the mantle. Nothing is left of the Artans, not even smoke. It's just gone. A third of the world missing. Many layers of ruins become visible, previously hidden deep under the history of other people. Ashes, then massive cathedrals, then ashes and looming towers, then ashes, then glass houses. It continues down until the magma of the earth fills in the new gap and hides it all away again. Jaska crashes into the ground face first and sobs until Cassandra finds him. The war is over, Adeline. Don't be scared, he says into the ground. Cassandra tries to comfort him, but he shoots into the air with the city-wide wings of fire and shouts at the sky. Is this what you wanted, beast? Are you happy now? Let me kill you. Let me drag you into the dirt. As Jaska says this, he loses his energy and falls. As he does, he turns into tiny particles and disappears completely. His dust falls onto the scorched grass. He gets returned into the void. That's done.
What the fuck? So you had to know
I
that
told
was
you,
gonna.
man.
You had to know that was gonna be my reaction, right? What the fuck? Oh, all right. Hold on. So first of all, let me just say that was
Okay, okay,
epic.
breathe, breathe.
Yeah, that was epic. That was definitely fucking epic. I mean, every part of it was fucking epic. I really like the detail and attention to detail, especially when it came to like visuals and color, and particularly just describing the color of the flames, and whatnot. But man, there's so much there. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
dude,
So
that's
the first, all of them are trapped in the void. Jaski is the only one left. He's there for 4 days. Adeline runs to him, and while he's trapped in the void, the beast convinces him to kill her. He follows her ghost into the ruins. Some flaming people are there, and he destroys the army attacking his city.
Yeah, dude, the epic fucking just breakout destruction. That was the one of the best fucking prison breaks in fucking history. That was fucking great. The breakout and the destruction of just completely fucking everything. It definitely had like, I don't know if you've ever heard or heard of or seen the movie or read Firestarter by Stephen King. Um it's about this little
No,
girl
no,
with very
I've heard the name. I've heard the
it's
name,
about
but
this
no.
little girl with very similar powers. And she just goes fucking nuts, man. And that's what it reminded
Yeah,
me of. It reminded me of that. And dude, just epic fucking battle scenes and epic fucking action scenes. Like I really see this like as a movie in my head. Like you're so good at making it vivid and bringing me into that world and making me see it like as a movie. And so yeah, but dude, just like literally some of the most epic fucking scenes that I can imagine. Like that wouldn't even a fucking live action wouldn't even do that justice. They wouldn't have the budget. They wouldn't have the budget to do that justice, right? It would have to be like an anime. It
no,
would
man,
have to be
give me an
animated
anime
because
of this.
there's enough but the budget to do what you just did, you know what I mean? I mean I think the only thing that came close was like the fucking horrible end of Game of Thrones, but you know, they had a huge budget for that at that point. They're like millions and millions of dollars to just destroy a bunch of buildings with some dragons for 10 minutes. And it was like a 10-minute scene or like 5-10 minute scene. And that probably cost them like most of their fucking budget for the for the season or whatever. Like
Yeah.
when you have those big special effects scenes, like it's gonna fucking, you know what I mean? Buildings crumbling and all that kind of shit. That's all has to be done with special effects because like there's no way to practically make it look like giant buildings are toppling and crumbling
Yeah,
and there's
and
fire
in this
everywhere.
case,
You know to
you
safely and practically do that. At least not that I know of. I'm not like I don't know movie mad. I don't know Hollywood, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
most of it would
I
have to
don't
probably
think
be done
there's
with
enough
special
movie
effects.
magic in the. I don't think there's enough movie magic out there to make a third of the world disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's insane. That is absolutely insane, dude. And like I would love to see that as an anime or something at some point because that's just like I love that, dude. That is so there's that like is that the end? Or is there more? Like
It's
what?
not. It's not.
It's not
There's
the end?
more. There's more.
Oh. He vanishes into
But
fucking dust and it's still not the end. All right. Well, I mean, he did get his head chopped off like 5 chapters ago, so this guy
yeah,
it's hard
yeah,
to kill this
and
guy. It's very hard. I'm noticing that this guy just doesn't want to stay. He's like a cockroach. He just keeps coming back.
yeah, man, you
But
step on
so
him, he reproduces, and there's more of him.
so let's talk about the death of Adeline for a second though. Right? So
yeah,
given that this is not the end, and I mean he obviously he flipped the fuck out. He pretty much lost it as to be expected. I think any if I think forced to kill a loved one is a pretty good reason to flip the fuck out. Someone forces
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, not only kills a loved one, but forces you to do it, and not only like it's just a brutal fashion. Like he blew her head off her shoulders too. Like it's not even like he's like
yeah, yeah. And
cleanly and mercifully
it
just
went
no.
straight through the prison roof, and some planets far, far away is just a massive load of power. The basilisk fucking tricked him. He tricked
Yeah,
him.
yeah, and that's a hard thing. So okay, without giving away, because obviously you're writing it, but I I want to
You want
ask.
to know what happens next?
No, not ask what happens next, but in what ways do you see? See, it's hard for me to ask the question because I was gonna say what in what ways do you see the death of Adeline affecting him? But I guess like obviously you know the answer to that. Is there any way you can give an answer to that without giving away the what happens next? Like
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
in
Well,
general
I
terms
can give an
emotionally.
example. Yeah, like in if this was of course this happens in real life, but like whenever this would happen in real life, a person who got tricked by some entity, if you got tricked into killing a loved one in such a gruesome fashion, you'd probably just be like uh, destroyed emotionally, you know.
And here's a better question though. Is so he's been through a lot. I mean, at the beginning of the story, he has all his bones ripped out and sacrificed. Like this guy's been through the ringer. Um, so I guess my question here is, all right, so that would drive some people insane. Is he already insane from the things that have happened to him? And if so, does that sort of make him more resilient in a way to further mental damage, if you get what I mean? Or is he
I get
still
what you
just
mean,
as
and
susceptible as anybody
it's a
else?
hard, yeah, it's a hard thing to say because uh, I don't know if this gives him resilience because he doesn't through this whole story the events happen really quickly and he doesn't really have any time to unpack anything that's happened. It's just crazy shit on top of crazy shit, and then again and again. And I think if I didn't know what's gonna happen next, I would say that to anyone, even if they had like a really strong psyche, this would just make it go crazy. It
Mm.
would. It would
And this
just make it go
seems
crazy.
this okay. So at the beginning of this story, like I was like, okay. So at the beginning of every story, when you have a main character, you right off the bat think that it's going to be a hero origin story because most of the time when you have a protagonist, it's a hero. And but now I'm kind of seeing that like this is more setting up to be like a villain origin story of like and you know everybody can come back from the darkness and I want to make that very clear like in real life and in fiction everyone can no matter how far you've gone like everyone can come back from the darkness and but now it seems like more of like this is setting up to be like a fucking village or a villain origin story and like this is how you go bad like this is if anything does it to you this is it you know what I mean
Yeah, yeah.
so that
If there's anyone that this could happen to, it's this guy. And if there's a thing that is the worst thing that has happened to him.
mm, yeah yeah
And I wanted
um
to ask you, I wanted to ask you about two things. Uh, what did you think about the people in the burning groves? Do they seem like strange, or does it is it just like yeah, sure, they exist?
I I wasn't really sure. See, I was like, I think I need to know more about them. I think that's the answer. Is I think that like I'm not sure. I'm not sure what how they fit and like what exactly. Like I think there's more that we're gonna see and more. You know what I mean? I don't.
I'm gonna say it right now. There's not gonna be any more of them.
They're
But
not coming back at
they're
all.
like no,
They
they're
seemed
all
like
dead.
they it seemed like they're all dead, all of them. He killed all of them,
Yeah, they were all in those ruins.
and they're not.
They like they're like
It just seemed like
worshippers,
they
like
would be. It,
followers.
it just seemed like they would be like I don't know. Is it okay? All right, that's a good question. All right, is there anybody in those ruins that was powerful enough to have survived?
No, they're just
No,
normal people.
nobody. Okay, all right, all right. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna have to ponder this because I,
Yeah. Because this is I just wanted what wanted to do with that question is just start a rabbit hole going because this there is a reason why they're there and there's a, why they're exactly and I doubt that anyone could figure it out just by listening and immediately after that answering.
yeah,
But
we'll definitely find out.
yeah, but if you had the book, which someday it will happen,
Absolutely, hell yeah, man.
you could figure it
Um,
out.
so did you have another question for me? You said you had two questions.
Yeah. Just about the basilisk. What do you think about the basilisk?
Oh, I
The
thought that
beast.
was crazy, and like the form of like torture he went through, and how it was just like a repetitive cycle of torture was just like insane. I really liked that. And as for like as far as like the basilisk itself, I thought it was really like I thought it was a really interesting character. I thought it was like so is the basilisk it's a little thing something I was confused of. Is the basilisk is in the void, right?
Yeah.
So
So
it
far, every time that we have seen the basilisk, they were passed out in the void or in some other dark place,
Right.
but they're not on Earth.
So now is he physical? Where is his body physically gone, or is it just like a mental thing? Like, is like mind and soul trapped in the void, or is like his whole body, like, is it a mental or metaphysical, or physical or metaphysical? I mean,
Uh, I'll tell you this: so far, what we've seen, it's all just been in the minds of the people who were magically enhanced.
okay, all right, that's interesting. See that there's just so many more, like, there's little bits and pieces, but it's interesting to see, like, that's why I like when you come on here, do like a couple chapters and a couple chapters, because I get to see like the progression of the story built, and I get to like why, because I always come up with theories, and then most of them end up being wrong, and that's what I love about like seeing
Yeah,
stories
because
unfold a little bit at a time
yeah,
too, and that's why I hate
yeah,
like
I wanna I what I want to accomplish the most is subvert expectations.
yeah, and
That's
that's
my
why I've
quest.
started to like get hesitant to like comment on what I think about this character or that character or what's gonna happen, because it's like I don't want to make any, because I assumed things about certain characters before, and then they turned out to be so fucking wrong. Like if you go back and watch some other episodes, I'm like horribly, horribly wrong about things. So now I'm like hesitating. I'm
Yeah, but
like,
don't be hesitant, man. Don't be hesitant. I love hearing thoughts and theories.
yeah, well, I mean that's the coolest thing about this. Speaking of which, I'm gonna bring up our other two guests here and see what they think about it. Patricia, what did you think?
So I think he has a very unique writing style that definitely lends to the genre that he's doing. I think it flowed really well. I think you were able to describe very dramatic scenes using, I think, the best words and the fewest words possible. And that's a skill that is in short supply. And then Dylan, you pretty much said everything else I was going to say. So, but yeah, it's really good. You're definitely fit for fantasy. I will say that.
Thanks, thanks. And that's something that I always shit, man. I'm delirious. But
Just
it's 4
so
a.m.
everyone knows,
It's
it's
4
like
a.m. here.
4:30 a.m. where he is. So
Ugh.
Yeah,
you're a fucking trooper
but
for being on here in the first place. So thank you, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
Should go to
But
bed.
that thing about Dylan already having said the perfect thing that, that I wanted to comment about someone else's art, and it's like, God damn it, Dylan already said everything. This, it happens to me.
Yeah.
I don't
That you
try
do
to
have a
do
good
it.
writing style.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just
Pose, what do you
happens,
think?
yeah.
I'm so upset that I couldn't catch it from the beginning, but it took me back to my childhood. Like you said, I could see the anime. I can definitely see the anime waiting every week for the next episode to come on. What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? Like
Mm.
I really, really felt it. Felt like I was 10 on a Saturday in my pajamas eating cereal, yeah, fight my little brother for
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's very vivid. It's very that's I try to uh, do it on purpose. I do it on purpose. It's very colorful, very lots of action.
and
So yeah, I can see how that reminds someone of childhood.
I can definitely
Yeah.
see it because I can see it playing out. And my thing is, I don't just like to read books. I like to see your book. So anything that you writing,
Yeah,
right? Like I want to be in that scene with the characters going through. Like, oh, this is really really dope. Like I have to be there so I can relate to it. And I really related to it. I'm mad I didn't catch it from the beginning, but I like it. So now I'm gonna have to play catch up.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Well, it is always on the YouTube for everybody to watch it later if they don't catch it live. So absolutely go check that out. And man, we appreciate you for being on here. Thank you so much for sticking it out. And you go get some sleep. Definitely go get some rest, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna be leaving right now.
No
It's
problem.
the day has been fucking hard.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right,
Okay.
man. Well, thank you
Thanks.
for coming.
Thanks, everyone, for your comments, for listening.
And welcome.
Bye.
Absolutely. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you being on.
See ya.
All right, guys. So, that being said, we're gonna bring up our next guest, Miss PR Infidel, or Patricia Ray. She's an author, and she's got 2 great books out on Amazon right now. And it is the Tales of I believe it is called the Tales of American Idiocy. No, wait, no, that's the second book. I'm not exactly sure what the title of the series is called, but there is Tales of Tales of American Idiocy. The End is Meow, which is the second book, and I actually don't have the first book written down here, but we'll have her tell us all about it in just a second. But she's got 2 books. They're fantastic. She's gonna read a little bit of some of them tonight, actually. And they're honestly just some of my favorite fucking stories. It's amazing. But anyway, you guys can go check her blog out at goodreads.com. It's PR Infidel. Or you can follow her on Facebook at Patricia Ray, or on gab.com at Proud Infidel 911. And I'll play her flyer and get her up here. Hey, sorry I kind of messed up the introduction of the books.
It's
Do you
okay.
want to can we get those titles?
Sure. So the first one is called Tales of American Idiocy. It's a collection of short stories, and it is a satirical work akin to George Orwell's Animal Farm. I've been compared to Orwell quite a bit. And so that's number one. The second one is Conspiracy Crew, The End is Meow.
That's it. I mixed up the titles completely.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. It's fine.
That's it.
I think
That's it.
everyone's a little tired. I think the week was a little rough on everyone in different ways. Must be a full
Absolutely.
moon or something.
Yeah, it was a full moon the other day, in fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, what I'm going to be reading to start out with is a poem I've written called The Chorus of the Frogs. And that's why I'm reading tonight. So, what this is, I'm going to warn you, it's a little bit dark. It flirts with the idea of child trafficking, that it is happening in this country. It puts some theories out about who's doing it and about what should be done to stop it. Now, that last part, it's a little dark, but basically, well, I guess I'm just going to have to read the poem and let you guys decide for yourselves. I mean, the question that I'm positing with it is it sometimes necessary for good, just, and kind men to do very bad things to very evil men to get evil to stop?
Mm.
Mm,
That
yeah.
is a very, very hard that's a very tricky concept, and
Yes.
I that is one of my favorite concepts that I've seen explored in popular, not I would say popular media, but in media. 2 examples that come to the top of my head that are just my favorite is my mother's favorite movie was Law Abiding Citizen. I don't know if you've seen it. But it is fantastic and it explores that concept very well. And then also the series Dexter.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
and he's
Mhm.
a serial killer that kills other serial killers, which there's more to that than just that concept because he has other issues going on. Like in his own brain. But
Right.
no, law-abiding citizen. I recommend everybody go check that out. Explores that concept fantastically, and it's one of my favorite concepts explored in writing. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
All right.
Even though
I hope you like it.
it is dark. I am excited for it. That's weird to say, but yeah. I'm gonna so you said it is the chorus of the frogs, right?
Chorus of the chorus of the frogs, yes.
All right. I'm gonna get that up here and get myself out of here.
There's going to be a hanging, sang the frogs to their artistic friend Danny down on Louisiana bog. When will be the hanging? Danny asked then of his friends. This was one of many talks he's had toward the end of gravel roads, swampy sycamores, and unkept muddy drive, quarter-mile removed from his father's single wide. When we cannot say, we can only speak the why. The why is a directive from the big man in the sky. It's justice for his children caught and caged, and drained thus of their life force by the ones who walk the stage. Where? Whispered Danny, to the frogs, some on islands distant, some in ports and trains, some buried in the earth and covered with the rains. Why, there's even a few here in Louisiana bog. Their voices deeply familiar. To us frogs, to us frogs. I want to help, but don't know how, said the boy to the amphibians. Your help will come when needed. For now, just be our friend. And Danny gladly agreed, for few of his friends remained. Such happens when your brain is different and wired to spiritual planes. As the frogs were singing, thus tore into the air a cry from Danny's father with hot and heavy flare. Danny, come on back and get up off that log. You can't do your homework down in that there swampy bog. And Danny said goodbye, but only for that day. More info about the hanging soon came Danny's way. They're coming across the border, and then they disappear. The frogs sing on the morrow, for Danny thus to hear. Who? He asked in earnest. The children, sang the frogs. They're stuffed in canoe containers. They're taken through the fogs, across the lakes and prairies, and even through our bog. They're moved, sold, and shuffled, and then they disappear. And that's why we sing our chorus for your sweet ears to hear. For if evil is allowed, more evil than evil will not fear. And when evil does not fear, more children disappear. And if more children disappear, then the big guy will take note, take action to create his own just child. And all the land will suffer from all the vampire sin. That's why the rope's the way to make you great again. And there in distant swamp, a screeching sound broke out. Rubber against the asphalt, steel against the grout. Go and see the children, sang the frogs, and Danny ran to meet his father at the wreckage long swamp route. The driver was dead, but the goods alive, as his father's crowbar freed children inside. Police were called and went up to the courts, but the courts were a joke. Danny's father drank, heartbroken, while the frogs sang, Use the rope! So we must do the hanging, Danny asked later of the frogs. Wouldn't be the worst done in Louisiana bog. For we tell you where those kids were headed, to dark and dreary dens, full of filth and evil, thick with hellish sin. How many places are there? More than we can count, and that's why it will take you all to round them out and rout them out. And it must be done by good men with stomach and with grit, fire in their souls, and palms greased with spit. Good men must do the hanging, and they must do it soon. Don't leave it to the fates, stars, or even silver moon. For if the hanging is not done, the big guy's anger will expand and manifest in nature and take over all the land. For evil demands justice, and justice isn't nice, but needed if you want to save these little guys. And as the frogs said, they're spread over all the land, storms with rain and snow, and hail and even sand. Roofs were torn from homes, and the earth beneath them moved. And when it did, the frogs' sordid prophecy was proved. For buildings were broken open, and their secrets boldly spilled, and evidence lay everywhere of children freshly killed. With society interrupted and the courts in disarray, justice returned to common and angry men that day, including one known to Danny's father, you could say a drinking friend. And he spoke with Danny's father of starting an old but trusted trend. In his eyes were tears and anger, but a strange sort of hope. In one hand was a gun, in the other was a rope. But they weren't the only ones. For gathered in town square were many good men with trucks and rope to spare. Their cars worked despite the discord. They were preppers everywhere. Their tanks were filled with gas, their hearts full of anger, and they were ready to kick some. And Danny's father left the youth to a neighbor's care that day, an elder who could watch him while he was away. And with the other men, he pulled to city drives and played the part of hunter to the evil still alive. And when the good men found them, they fixed their length of ropes, and at the end of said links, they hung the evil dopes. And Danny went out next day of his father's single wide, hoping to see frogs at the end of Gravel Drive. But the Gravel Drive lay silent and void of amphibians, yet somehow in the mist, Danny saw his old friends. For the frogs, you see, weren't frogs, but the spirits of the children trapped in Louisiana bog. The children caught and loaded on ports and in plains, buried in the swamps, covered with the rains. Their ghostly forms shone green, reflecting dark and swampy bog, as they bid goodbye and thanks in Louisiana bog. And that's the end of the chorus of the frogs.
Ooh, god damn. Wow. Wow. First of all, I just love that you have your thing and you stick to it no matter what you're writing. And your thing is, first of all, amazing storytelling. Second of all, brutal and honest commentary on the hard truths and the hard things that are going on in our society. And then just your knack for always including animals. Always, and they're always cute little critters too. They're always cute little critters. You're always including your cute little critters, and I just like, and I can even imagine these frogs as part of the universe of the books, because it's a bunch of it's the same thing. It's a bunch of cute little critters trying to overthrow the evil things that the humans are doing. So I can kind of imagine them as part of like the same universe in my head, and I love that you know your like your thing, and you just stick to it, and you do it so well, and I you're better than George Orwell. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. That's just my personal opinion. You're just fucking amazing. And I love your rhyme scheme and how you've learned to do that storytell, like literally the same thing you do in your books, but rhyming in verse, and that is incredible. And you just started like writing poetry not too long ago.
Yeah, just a couple months ago.
Yeah, so that's fucking amazing. And like it's one of the things I do love about the show, and I say it constantly, is just seeing like you guys' progression and your growth, which is awesome. And yeah, the way you've been able to incorporate those talents into your poetry writing is amazing. But shit, man, that piece is just,
it's hard. It's a very hard
yeah.
one, and I really debated sharing it because it is so. I mean,
No, but
if you
I think that everybody, I don't think that you'll find, and I like that. First of all, you said there's a couple things that really like lines that just bounced out at me at the beginning. The boy said, "I'd like to help, but I don't know how," and that really struck me. And then there was a line where you were saying where the frogs were talking about evil, and if it's allowed to continue, what will happen. That really like jumped out at me.
yeah, let me find it for you. So let's see. Okay, that's why I will take you all to round them up and route them out. Okay. Yeah, or if evil is loud, more evil, then evil will not fear, and evil will be left alone to do more evil here. And if it is allowed, more children disappear. So,
That one really struck me, and that was an amazing line. Not just the way it was written, like structurally and the rhyme of it, but just the impact of it was fucking amazing. I really, really love that. There's also a line where you said, it must be done now. Not only it must be done now, I'm just paraphrasing, but not only must it be done now, but it must be done by good men. You specified it must be done by good men, which is interesting because, like I was talking about before, the concept like that Dexter explores, right? It explores that concept, but he's not necessarily a good man, right? It explores the concept of not necessarily a bad man doing these deeds, but I liked that you specified it has to be done, and it has to be done by a good man. And I really, because I think that there's a difference between doing something that's righteous and being righteous, if you get what I mean. Like one, I think, is more narcissistic and the other is more selfless. And I think, it takes a special kind of person to do a bad thing that's right for the right, a bad thing for the right reasons. And
to
I
stand up for
really,
the innocent. So the reason I put that in there is because we're specifically talking about children, right? And so, it takes a very, I think anyone is capable of good. Even evil people have their good moments, right? But if we're talking about children, we're talking about defending the innocent. That's why I said, okay, these have to be good men, and these have to be good men that are pushed to their edge. So you see, like at first, when Danny's father finds the kids, he opens the back of the truck with the crowbar. He calls the police. He goes through the system, does all the things, but there's no justice. He gets depressed. He's drinking, whatever. And then when society finally collapses and everything's in disarray, they're like, it's go time. Let's
do something.
The fuckers,
So
and he does.
And that part, okay, so that part reminded me of a song that I grew up listening to. My mother also showed me this song, and it's called "Coward of the County" by Kenny Rogers. And I don't know if you know it, but for those of you who don't, it is a story about a man who, and the chorus is his father telling him, his father was a drunk and someone who got into a lot of fights and got arrested a lot. And the chorus is his father telling him, you don't have to fight to be a man, and always walk away, turn the other cheek if you can. You don't have to fight to be a man. And so it describes this man who goes through his whole life turning the other cheek and not fighting, and as a result gets called a coward, and he becomes the coward of the county, and everyone kind of makes fun of him. And he eventually marries this girl, and then one day he comes home and she's like in tears, and it turns out that like 10 or more of the neighborhood boys had done the worst possible thing imaginable and taken turns doing it. And so he walks into the bar that they're all at, and or he's at the bar that they're all at, and they show up, one or the other, I can't remember, but he goes to walk towards the door, and they say, "Oh, look, yeah, he's old Yeller is running, or old coward, whatever the fuck they call him. He's running away." And when he gets to the door, it's like a really powerful scene. It really like hits me every time. He locks the door, and he says, and you could have heard a pin drop when Johnny stopped and locked the door, and he turned around and he just let him have it all, and not a single motherfucking one of them was standing by the time he walked out. And this is, and the last chorus, the whole chorus throughout the song was his father telling him, you don't have to fight to be a man. And the last chorus is, him telling his father, even though his father's passed, I turned the other cheek when I could, but sometimes you have to fight to be a man. And that's one of those times where you can't let something like that go. You can't. And it's when you push a good man too far, that's what happens, yeah, so that it reminded me of that part with that specific line. It's got to be done, and it's got to be done by a good man, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you catch in that they were actually the spirits of the kids?
Yes, I really like that too. That was a really interesting. Like I said, it also had like, and that's something that most of because a lot of your stuff, it's fictional, but it's very like grounded. It doesn't have like any really mystical elements a lot of the time, with like your books. But yeah, I really like the mystical element this time of just like the spiritual element of it. I really like that.
Oh, good.
That was great.
I'm
I
glad
want
you
to
liked
see
it.
I want to see what Poetless thought about it. Hey, what'd you think?
Oh, I can't hear.
There we go. Hello. Can y'all hear
Hello.
me? No,
I can hear
not
you.
yet. Oh.
Yep.
I understood everything you were saying, and I think the reason why you think it's so hard because it's the truth. Truth is supposed to feel like that. So if it didn't feel like that, then you didn't do it right. So you're doing it right. And I felt everything that you're saying. And it takes me back. Sometimes you have to dig into your imagination just to work out some things. But at a certain age, and what these kids go through, society makes it seem after a certain age, get rid of your imagination. And then if you realize that they always tell you, tap into your inner child, you always got to go back to your imagination. So I definitely love your piece.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments.
You have good sense. Why do you leave all this stuff up here?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jay.
I don't see.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I was reading it, but I was muted. Sorry. He said, I believe in necessary evil sometimes for the greater good. Love the different perspective with your stories. Love the way you bring the animals to life. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, he keeps up with almost every single show, so he's seen all of your conspiracy theory stuff. And yeah, we all love it. Like you're probably, aside from Caleb, because he's on the most, you're the person that I get asked about and talk about the most with other guests and with other people who watch the show.
Thank you.
For sure. People
Such an
love
honor.
people love your work.
Thank you.
And we will catch you again in a few minutes for some more of your conspiracy theory. All right. So the surprise guest, who's not really surprised, I just call her that because she popped in last minute here. We were only supposed to have Jack and Patricia, but I'm glad she popped in, and she's going to do some stuff for us. Oh, hang on. I don't have her thing right in front of me, but I can fix that in 2 seconds. All right. Miss Poetless Shakespeare. She is a poet and an author. She's got 2 books. I should be able to remember this off the top of my head already. She's got 2 books out right now. DNA stands for Don't Never Assume, and the sequel, DNA The Results. They're both available on Amazon, so go check them out. She's got a YouTube channel run and produced by a wonderful producer and artist and just overall awesome dude. And he does his name's Exoskeleton. That's what he goes by. And he just does everything. And he produces a lot of the videos, or most of the videos, that she does on her YouTube. And they have like a really close partnership. So the YouTube is Red Designs 956. It's r.e.d.desygn 956. So make sure you go check both of them out. He's been on a guest on here before, and whenever I shout her out in her YouTube channel, I always shout him out as well, because they have such a close partnership with that. And with that being said, I'm gonna play her flyer and get her up here. Sorry. There we go.
freedom. Is it really worth anything? Where so many people have died not knowing what it means to be free in the first place. What is justice? Is it another word that's supposed to describe our right to be equal in a society that won't even respect us, let alone recognize us? We was birthed into a nation that told us our freedom was just a facade of happiness. Without any sense, we gladly feast upon their lies that they fed us, and became so content in the hell that they tossed us in. Like corpse, we linger in the hollow glow of an undefeated battle that leaves us helpless. Until Martin had a dream that brought war and to bring upon peace, while Malcolm had a plan to outsee it by any means necessary. And the Black Panthers joined forces with fists held high as a sign of strength. What has happened to our nation? Have we forgot that we was the cause for the reproduction of greatness? Our ancestors fought and was killed just so we can even say the word freedom.
Hey, welcome back. How you doing?
Hey everybody. Well, everybody that's out there in the universe and the world is watching.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back. Polis is back, everyone. One of our favorite guests. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
For those of us who don't know, if I missed anything in your introduction or you want to add anything to it, by all means.
No, you both summed it up.
Cool. Well,
Summed it up.
I appreciate you being on. And you've got some poetry to share with us tonight. I didn't catch the names of your pieces because, like I said, you kind of popped in last minute. But yeah, if you want to tell me what you're gonna do tonight, I'll get it right up there on the screen for you.
I think this one is called Failed Escape.
Failed escape. All right. And are you doing two pieces tonight or just one?
I could do two if you want me to. You know, I always got it back.
Sure. All right. I will get failed escape up here and get myself out of here and just let you get to your magic.
For the past 30 plus years living on this earth, I can honestly say with audacity, confidence, and with my whole little chest, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm a 4 foot and a half, heavy on the half, but 4'6" on a tall day, walking, talking dynamite. Picture Bruce Lee merged with Goku with a dash of bubbles. Yes, from the Powerpuff Girls. Why? You may ask, because it's what my imagination helps me with and my mental can relate to. And for two, I don't have to explain myself to you. Now, back to what I was saying. I'll go super seance in the face of danger, straight blasting through any distraction trying to turn me off from my course, sidekicking any obstacles dad seem fit to approach me. Like I said, I'm not afraid of anything or anyone. That's until someone told me to stand in front of a mirror, and not any mirror, but a full-length mirror. And as I stood there, I wondered, what do you want me to do? They told me to describe the woman I saw. In a blinking of an eye, that safe place I pictured I once called home has quickly turned out like a coffin tight interrogation room. I could feel my windpipe getting closer. I could feel them tightening. While I stood there trying to figure out who and why is this happening to me, what did I do to cause this? I guess it happens when you spend all those years in therapy and you try to play the victim, but there's really nothing to play victim to. Or maybe because you were so afraid to know the real you that you do anything possible to mask you. So here we go. This is what I must ask you. Tell me the little girl that you see that you love her. And in the blink eye, I said, I don't see a little girl. I see a decaying rose and a bud of weeds that have no hope of ever regrowing. What am I supposed to do? They looked at me with a scared voice and a devilish grin and said, won't you hug her for once? This is what you were supposed to do. When will you stop running from you and allow you to love you? Until then, there will be no love outside of you unless you put it in you. And I stand there and I looked at the mirrors and the mirror looked at me. And I knew at this point, I knew what I had to do. I had to dig deep and reach out and touch the woman that lived inside of me. In peace.
Oof, goddamn, and that is why you are the queen of on me moments. Hold on, let me get that up here. On me. That was another on me moment. God damn. Every time you come on here, like you bring such empowering, like it's such empowering piece. I mean, you started that shit off like, yo, what did you say? Something like Chuck Norris mixed with Goku or some shit.
Oh, Bruce Lee.
Fucking Bruce Lee. Yeah, that's even crazy. That's
Goku.
even better. Bruce Lee, yo,
Bruce Lee and
Bruce Lee
Goku.
mixed with Goku with a little bit of fucking bubbles from Powerpuff Girls. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it. I love it. Just the energy you bring every time. And of course, always your flow, your rhyme scheme. It's always phenomenal. The way you put syllables together, your multiple syllable rhymes. It's I'm a word nerd and I can sit here and dissect the words and the breakdown of the rhyme scheme all day. But yeah, I love it, and I just love the energy and the message, and how you just you seem to find yourself a little more with each piece that you do, and I feel like each piece that you do is like a search for your true self, and I feel like you're finding it, and it's fucking phenomenal. We got a
It's funny.
comment here. My dad says, "Always enjoy your work." Fantastic. Yeah, man, that's
Thank
so good.
you.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I was thinking about the last conversation me and you had through Messenger, and we were talking about the show, how everything was going. And I had to stop and I think, I said, a lot of times people go through therapy and get different therapists because they're scared to really sit down and admit what they have problems going on. Maybe like I knew that was my problem. I would go to a therapist, and as soon as the therapist would hit that point where I had to like talk about my feelings, I would find some excuse not to go back. I
Mhm.
promise you I would. Like I was the queen.
Mhm.
Like that movie Runaway Bride, that was me. Like I will run from therapists like it's nothing. Like and then I had
Mhm.
to sit down and think like everything would just hit me. Like I felt like I was going through what Loki was going through. He had to go through different timelines trying to bring everything together. Just
Yeah.
like when Loki had to be like she said,
Ouroboros loop.
like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Loki had to be good in order to stop bad. You get what I'm saying? So just like she said, it took a man to do it. But even though he was who he was, but I felt like Loki, like, all right, what am I supposed to do? Because remember when he kept on going to the thing, he kept on coming out as the spaghetti noodles. He was like, all
It's
right, what can I
this
do?
final loop. Yeah.
And he kept
Yeah.
on getting
I
frustrated.
like that analogy. A lot of people won't get that, but I get that reference. I got that
That's why I
reference.
said it. That's why I said it here. I know where to say it. I know where it's golden at, where to be appreciated. But that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah.
was feeling. And then I finally found a therapist. I was like, you know what? It's about time that I take care of me. Because I'm not going to be better than what I want to be. I'm not going to be that person. So that's where the poem came from. I was sitting there, I'm like, all this time I'm scared of running. Then a lot of times it's like, it's really nothing wrong with me. Maybe I just needed somebody to talk to just to get myself
Hmm.
along.
And
But
that's
I
what I
was
try to
so,
say. That's what I try to say at the beginning of every one of these shows, right? And that's why I stress it so much is don't keep it locked up. Find some way
mm,
to fucking get it out. And trust me, I have been through therapist after therapist after therapist, done the same
mm,
fucking thing over and over again. It's got you gotta want help, and you gotta be willing to open yourself up for that help, whatever that help is, and
yep.
whether that help is therapy or doing a podcast or whatever the hell it is. Like this is my therapy.
Hmm.
I don't use BetterHelp. I promote it because I feel like other people could find help there. That's
Hmm.
just not for me personally at this moment. Maybe I'll try it in the future. Maybe I'll try therapy again in the future.
Right.
But I like to put it out there because I think no matter what the outlet is, you need an outlet, and so I just like try to provide as many outlets as I possibly can, for people. And I just say, listen, your art is your outlet.
It is.
And here's some professional outlets, and honestly, dude, go for a fucking walk.
I love
Go for a walk in the woods. That's a great outlet. But
I
yeah, I really love how you embody the spiritualness of finding that outlet and focusing your energy.
That's what you got to do sometimes because the energy be trying to find you, but after a while it'll stop when you ain't trying to get to it. And I've noticed that. And I've noticed a lot of people, they are so stuck in that energy. And I find myself disconnecting with a lot of people because of that energy. And everybody keeps saying, oh, you shouldn't do them. Like, I have to look out for me. That's one of my boundaries. If I feel like your energy is going to compromise my energy, then I got to do something about that. I have to worry about me. I have to worry
Yeah.
about me. And it's not like I don't want to be there for people, but I have to realize what I went through and what I came out of and who was there for me. So if I go
Mhm.
through this with you, are you going to be there for me when I go through it? Because it might
Mhm.
not look like how your go through do. My go through is a whole lot different. You might
Mhm.
not be able to stand it like I can stand yours. And that's what
And
I had to realize.
I commented on that in my first piece that I did a little bit called "Don't Ask,"
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I told Caleb, listen, man, it's not like a personal attack on you, but like him asking me that question kind of gave me the fuel for it, and like, but I touched on that a little bit, like where I said, will they cherish it like 20 karat gold, or will it all just perish and
Mm-hmm.
get buried in a hole? So don't ever
Exactly.
fucking question what I carry on my shoulders, because you'll rarely find another man who stands a chance to hold it. And it's not me
Exactly.
saying like I'm stronger than y'all. I
Right.
just carry my weight the way, like, I carry my weight better than y'all could. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We all, you know what I mean? I have a certain set of things that I do better, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it's, or that I have a certain set of burdens that I carry and I'm more equipped to carry, because, and I feel like, and I'm not even religious, man, but, and I'll say, so instead of saying God, I'll just say the universe, but I feel
Right.
like the universe only gives us as much as we can handle. And
Yep.
you may not feel like that. It really may not feel like that at times, but man, God only gives us as much as we can handle. I promise you. I promise you. And that goes for whatever God you fucking believe in. And if you don't believe in a God at all, again, the universe, just substitute the universe. I for me, that word always works because it encompasses everything,
Yep.
which is what God is. But
Yep.
um and yeah, man, God doesn't give us more than we can handle. And I think that the human brain and soul and body are so much more resilient than we think they
Mm-hmm.
are. Um, I mean, dude, there are like, you hear stories of like women who can lift cars off their children, or
Yep.
like a man who has like a 10,000. Heard a story of like a man, he had like a 10,000 pound boulder on him, and somehow he was able to hold it off of his chest until people got there to
Can't
help him.
help.
And it
Mm-hmm.
was like a 10,000 pound boulder. And like, our soul and our mind are just as resilient. Like, it sounds corny, but whatever doesn't kill you really does make you stronger.
And
It
do because
really fucking does.
we are so out of sync with ourselves, and when you're out of sync, you're not going to work. Just like with a car, if the engine's not running, this not running, this not running, but we're running to go get that fixed instead of working on us. Like I've been really, really working on my chakras, and I really learned, just like you said, if we would get out that mindset like, oh my gosh, it's too hard, or that, oh well, it is what it is attitude, and we really focus like, you know what, it's always a positive way to handle this problem. Yeah, the problem may seem bad, but we so wrapped up in that negative to where we can't see nothing positive. And
Mm.
like for the last couple of months, I've really been, well, my therapist told me to, but really talk to your anger. I know it's hard to do, trust me, I'm still working on it, but sometimes you got to talk to your anger, like what's really wrong with you. Like really, you
Mhm.
can act out. Like what is wrong with you to make you want to lash out? Like it's not that bad for us to go out like that. It really is.
Dig into it. Yeah. Dig
Like
into
what's
it.
wrong with
Absolutely.
it? Like, and I've noticed that. Like even when I'm sad, I'm like, what are you sad for? Like what are you going to cry for? Like not to be mean or harsh, but you really got to ask yourself questions. Because sometimes we
Mhm.
put ourselves in a victim role and we don't even need to be on that avenue at all. Like it's
Mhm.
really not that bad. Like we need to substitute the emotion that we really feeling. But everybody can say, "Oh, I'm upset." What are you upset for? Like, what's the really underlying problem? Like, why are you feeling this emotion?
Mhm.
And that's sometimes that
Absolutely.
that well, that's what I do
Absolutely.
for me, and it's
And
been working pretty well.
I like how you work through that in your work too. Absolutely. I'm gonna bring Patricia up to see what she thought about it real quick. Hey, what do you think
Hi.
about this?
So I really love how she mixed self-discovery and self-awareness with pop culture. I
Mm,
just think that that was very fun. Um, and I think that a lot of people can identify with that. I think especially a lot of young people that are struggling can identify with that. And I think, I mean, I feel you about people, draining energy. Um, I have one in my family.
mm, I think we all.
And I've had, I love her dearly, but I have to set boundaries with her or she honest to God will suck me dry. I mean, She the last time she visited, I mean, and she was only here for a few days. I felt like I had a hangover for like 2 days afterwards. And I mean, I did. Honestly, I didn't drink a drop, and you know,
That's how you
Just
but
drains you fucking mentally. Yeah.
you cannot give in to people like that. You have to set boundaries, or else there's going to be nothing left of you. So
Yep.
don't be afraid to set boundaries with people. You have to. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a necessity, or they some people will literally kill you.
Yes,
It
Mhm.
they
just
will.
is what it is, girl. So yeah, no, great job. I thought it was just a cool, fun, but extremely relevant piece.
Cause I
So
think some people need to hear that. Like some people gotta let them know, like it's okay to feel the way you feeling. You don't have to always. Cause I get so sick and tired of people saying society. Who is society? Like I want to meet society, but nobody give me a good. Nobody got a good phone number, but everybody saying society says this. Society says that. Has anybody met society?
I want to talk to I want to talk to the society
I,
motherfucker. Where is he?
I've
Where's he
actually
at?
met. Okay, I've met society, and that's why I'm a satirist.
Like,
That's why I make fun of it. So
like and I tell everybody this, like you, like with art. And the one thing that makes me mad, and it really like it grinds my gears. Like I really lose height over this because art is your self expression. So who that says that art is not good or this and that? It's my expression. But I hate when somebody try to show their artwork and they try to put it down. Like, why are you putting down somebody else's work? What can you do? What are you discovering, or what are you making that puts a smile on somebody else's face? Like I hate when somebody try to downgrade somebody else's work because they don't feel like it's good enough for them. Like why do people feel like they have the need to just say something about everything? I will never understand.
yeah,
I
well,
don't
Yeah.
just
get it.
set those boundaries. You got to do it.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And that's like a hard line to walk between, like we were talking about before this, being able to open up and reach out,
Mhm.
and also setting boundaries. Like it's a very tricky thing to walk that thin line.
Yeah,
But I think you do it fantastically in your work. Both of you.
thank
Um,
you.
Absolutely. And I love that piece, and I will most definitely catch another one in a few minutes. Thank you. All right. We'll just keep you up here since you're gonna read next. So you got more of the first book or the second book?
So I got more of Conspiracy Crew. The End is Meow, and I have my tinfoil bow on tonight for when you want to look stylish but still fight the New World Order.
I fucking love it. And oh man, so I hung out with my just like a quick funny thing. I hung out with my best friend for like one of my best friends for the first time in a while today, and
Yeah,
we used to like substitute the word meow for now. Like it was just our thing. Like we did it constantly. Whenever we say the word now around each other, it's always meow. So I had to tell him about your book. I was like, dude, you gotta hear the title of this book, dude. The end is meow. It's coming. It's right meow.
nice,
No,
nice.
but yeah, no, I love your satire. It is the best brand of satire, because some
Thank
satire
you.
can be too aggressive and too like punch you in the face, almost like less satire and more just like trolling kind of,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's a like delicate line to walk, and you do it expertly, so I love it.
Well, thank
All
you.
right, let me get this conspiracy theory, the end is meow title up here, and
Yes.
I will let you do your magic.
All right, awesome. Let me get this pulled up here. Okay, so just a little background. The Conspiracy Crew, The End is Meow, is a novel about pets fighting essentially this slippery slope toward a new world order where you're going to have a small group of people controlling everything and everyone. Um, and basically, what happens is they inspire the trucker blockades. I don't know if you've heard about those, where a bunch of truckers in Canada blockaded this critical route. It was called the Sweetwater Coots Crossing. Okay. They did that in January of 2022. So the premise of my book is that Chester and friends make a bunch of pet videos with subliminal messages in them to get the truckers to rebel. All right. So the truckers rebel, but they find out that the battle's not over because the people of the World Fiscal Forum want to implement this system of digital currency that is going to basically make everyone easier to control. Okay. So the dogs and the cats go to Canada, and the reptiles stay back with Chester's owner, Moira, who's a human, and also Lord Slorp, who's an alien. All right. And so they're back, and basically they're doing a bunch of white hat stuff for the team. They're telling the dogs and the cats where to go and where to get the supplies and how to help the truckers. So basically that's what's going on here. And so in this scene, Moira is trying to tell Rocky the dog where to get horses, because Rocky wants to bring horses to the blockade because horses can navigate territory that humans and vehicles and things can't. So Rocky's up in Canada. Okay, he's a Labrador. And the White Hats are in northern Washington, and they're communicating, over the internet. All right, so this is Moira talking. This looks as good a place as any, and only 2 miles from Milk River. Come in, Bug Muncher, Moira said over her comm and gave Rocky quick directions to the place. When the transmission ended, she tapped her hat, and the line went silent. Rocky didn't respond, but all signs suggested he had gotten the transmission. Then she let out her breath and sat back in her chair, eyes drifting over the red barn in front of her. Why would the elites attack the food supply? Because he who controls the food controls the people. Moira opened the car door and gathered Tommy in a blanket. Come on, I want you to see this. Try not to hibernate on me. It is cold. Moira carried Tommy over the fence and into the old barn. The farmland had recently been sold. The real estate sign was still present, and sources said that the purchase had been made by Will Yates, computer expert and philanthropist, who had lately taken an odd interest in healthcare, mosquitoes, and food production. Thus why he was buying up much of the farmland in the U.S. Moira opened the gate and entered the barn to see Lord Slorp standing with Mr. He in a warm coat. The lizard person was adjusting to the cold well despite his reptilian blood. There was something under a large sheet in the center of the barn. Lord Slorp was frowning at a handheld device set on top of the sheet. Is it safe to touch? Moira asked about the covered object. Let me go first. Lord Slorp removed the sheet to reveal a strange sight. It was a metallic ball of sorts with a flat plate at the top, designed to be mounted on something. There was a focus exit, like a gun tube or engine exhaust port. It looked like an odd combination between a disco ball, an engine, and a laser. Is that what I think it is? Moira asked. What could you possibly think that is? Tommy the tortoise groaned. I've never seen anything like it. I have, Lord Slurp sighed. I've been fired at with one before. It's a direct energy weapon. Will Yates and the other rich jerks are going to start fires all over the world with these things to make the humans believe in global warming. Not that crap again, Tommy moaned. Mr. He nodded. Global warming will become a new religion in the West, one which will force people into 15-minute cities and onto an unnatural diet. So Chester was right about the human beings eating bugs and living in pods? Tommy said. Wait a second. What am I saying? Of course that furball was right. The nuttier he sounds, the more right he is. Lord Slurp adjusted the object so its laser focus was pointing out the barn door toward a 5-foot-high snowbank. Stay back, he advised, and then hit a few buttons on the remote. A strange whirring filled the air, and lights danced about the ball. Then a bright, hot beam shot from it, dousing the snowbank in a roaring wall of fire. The air was thick with hissing as the snow quickly evaporated and turned into a hot, ghost-like mist about them. When the air cleared, the crew saw the bank completely obliterated. It had melted down to a pile of rocks, their black surfaces scorched and smoking. What the fluff? Cried Tommy. I can disable this model, but there are likely others around, Lord Slurp advised. I'll get in contact with my people and see if they have any advice. In the meantime, I recommend you get some emergency supplies and be ready for whatever the rich jerks throw your way. There will likely be food shortages in addition to climate changes. I agree. He who controls the food controls the people, Moira sighed. He who controls the weather controls the fear, Mr. He added. And he who controls both controls the world, Lord Slorp concluded. And that is the end of that segment of Conspiracy Crew. The end is meow.
Fucking amazing. As always.
Thank you.
Oh, like literally, I like she was saying earlier, go into like my like 10-year-old happy spot when you're reading. Like, even though you are reading about heavy topics and commenting on heavy topics, like I just find myself going into this like Saturday morning like cereal bowl type thing, like she said, and just like I just sit back, absorb the story. Like, you were such a good storyteller, not only in like the way you wrote it, but you read it excellently as well. And you have a way of like really bringing each of the like animals' personalities to life in their own like unique way. You know what I mean? And they're just their mannerisms, and you don't even change your voice all that much, but you do enough of a voice where it's like it's believable, and with you inflecting so much personality into it, it doesn't need to be a complete like voice change or like, professional voiceover or whatever. You just give the character so much personality. And that's one of the things I love the most about your work is your character building, and just how much personality and how much like time you take to put that much personality into each character. One thing I wanted to ask you is, are you the type of person that like writes out like kind of a biography or whatever for each of your characters, kind of like a okay, this is how tall they are, this is what their kind of motivations are in life, this is like their so if you've ever heard D&D, they'll be described as like, okay, this character is evil, neutral evil, good, or like so do you go through that process of deciding like, okay, this character is evil, this character is neutral, this character is and kind of write a biography for your characters, or do you just free flow?
Okay, number one, I've played D&D before, so I know what you're talking about, and I love it. I am big nerd over here. Okay, absolutely, I dig D&D. So I know what you're talking about. For this book, surprisingly, I didn't. It just kind of naturally evolved. And, from the first story, I just wrote that first story, and I thought it was going to be a one shot, but then everybody was like, oh, we want more Chester. We want more Chester. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll give you more Chester. And so I went back to that first story, and I just kind of was looking. And so for the tortoise, he's a little grumpy. He plays the stock market. He's not very good at it, which is part of why he's so grumpy. And he was the first one to call Chester out. Like when Chester's like, soon the humans are all going to wear muzzles, Tommy goes, that's weird, even for you, like Chester freaking foil hat stuff again. Are you kidding me? And then, later on when he's right, he's like, yeah, which stocks are going to go up, and then I just kind of rode that throughout the book. There's a few references where he's looking at his portfolio and it's not that good. And he's like, that stupid furball was right about them making the humans eat bugs. Wait a second. What am I saying? Of course that furball was right. The nuttier he sounds, the more right he is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Tommy. He's just kind of grumpy. He's this grumpy, like kind of disgruntled stock market, reptile
that's
player.
cool. He kind of reminds me of like a grumpy old man, and like turtles typically are supposed to be like, or most of the time they're portrayed as like old men. When they're anthropomorphic, they're portrayed as old men. Worst one that comes to mind is like, for some reason, Kung Fu Panda, like the old wise turtle. But he comes off as like a grumpy version of that. Yeah. And I just love the old like crotchety, because turtles are supposed to live like ridiculously long. Yeah, and I love that. And the other thing I love, just not only about Chester but about the story in general, is the wackier it is, the more like real it is. The wackier it gets, the more real, and like the wackier it sounds, the more you're really commenting on real shit that's going on. And it's that to me is scary.
Yeah.
That we're living in a time that is like so easily translated into a story, because a story has to have chaos for it to be a good story. So to live in a world that's so chaotic that it's so easily translated into a story is kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of added in that part about the laser after the Maui fires. And then
I kind of,
yeah, and it didn't just happen in Maui. They're Texas, East Texas, they were targeting cattle ranches. It was very interesting that a bunch of cattle ranches burned, you know. And then there was an area in Chile, that same thing. Weird freaking lasers from this guy. I mean, you can't tell me there's not some truth to this,
yeah.
So that's kind of where that came from. I'm like, I'm putting this in here. I don't know. And then the other thing about like the climate change, the climate change, the climate change, climate change. I I don't know what your feelings are about it, but I have they've pushed it so much that I don't believe it's happening the way they say it is. Okay. Or if it is, they're the fuckers doing it. I mean, so that they can control
Yeah,
people more.
there's way more to this whole cloud seeding bullshit than meets the eye. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they
Absolutely
did. If
agree
you
with
look up Operation Popeye, and I actually mentioned
you. Yeah,
that.
I
I
think
think the last time I was on your show, I read about it. I said, Rocky is a reincarnated war dog, and he's talking about his Vietnam days. He's like, they did Operation Popeye towards the end of the war to rain out this trail that was critical for the communist supply route. It was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and you know, it didn't win the war, obviously, but it did extend the monsoon season by 5 months. So if they've been doing weather mods since like the late 60s, what could they do now?
And I love how much, because I can't credit myself to being at all a history buff whatsoever. Like, I know history generally, and the things that I'm more interested in, I research. But my mom was a huge history buff, always on History Channel or whatever Travel Channel. And she would be just amazed and so fascinated by like not only your knowledge of history, but like like your ability to go and research, and like I think that you put a lot of time into researching. I think a lot of your writing process, if I'm not mistaken, is spend time researching, and that it takes dedication, because researching is hard and boring.
Yeah,
And
you,
it's
you
hard
have
to
to have
sort
a
through
heart
a lot
for
of
it.
shit.
You
Yeah,
have to have a heart
absolutely.
for it. And you know how I got my heart for it? It started because someone lied to me. Okay. It started with my government lying to me. You probably know this about me, but I am a GWAT veteran. Okay. And, I was told all this stuff about Islam growing up. And then I get over there and it's nothing like what I'm told. And I'm like, okay, somebody's lying to me. And then I came back and I did a deep dive. And so that's kind of where my journey into doing my own research began. And, um, and then I started to do pattern recognition. And then with COVID, I was just like, oh my God, you're kidding me. How many people just got so easily psyoped? So and that was just like, you know what? I've got this talent. I can't stand before God and tell him I didn't do anything with it. I think he'd be pretty pissed. So with all this going on, if I didn't at least try. So here I am trying. I
I
don't
like
know.
that, and that is the to me, that is the essence of art, and is at the end of the day, I want to be able to say and again, this is for religious folks and non-religious folks, because I try to encompass everybody's mindset and bring everybody together on the same mindset, and that is that if you are given this talent by whatever it is, God or whatever, if you have this, I have Spider-Man posters right here, And I keep Spider-Man posters right here to remind me that with great power comes great responsibility, and the responsibility to use that power to do good and to try to make an impact in whatever small way. Because that's the other thing I like about Spider-Man is he's there is stories about him doing like whatever multiverse shit, but like when he started out, he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he's affecting his small corner of the world, and he's making his small corner of the world better. But in making in just doing what you can, just doing your little bit, you're automatically making the world a better place. And that's what I really believe is if you have the power, it should be used to impact the world in some kind of meaningful way, in whatever tiny little neighborhood way you can. And I really love that you stick to that, and you don't let anybody stray you from that. And you know what, man, there are a lot of people that I know that are very free thinking, like smart people, but they are brainwashed as fuck by the government, and they just can't help it. They just
Yeah. You could be
because
extremely intelligent and
we've been rewired. I mean,
yeah,
even you and me, who are people who write about and speak out against things like that, to a certain degree, we are brainwashed by these little screens in front of us every
yeah. The
single
glowing
the glowing boxes every single day. Like we are to a certain extent brainwashed, and our brain chemistry is literally being rewired. Yeah, it's crazy you said something about psyops, because I was literally I was writing something about that like earlier. I think it was actually yesterday. But since COVID, like online, right? There have been so many like, okay, for example, like cute young girls who are in the military and showing you all these helicopters and this cool military equipment and these vests, and like just making TikTok videos of like military shit. And I'm like, she's a psyop. She's trying to get you to join the military.
They're not allowed to dress like that. I'm going to tell you right now. They are covered from head to toe because that's the way you have to be when shit's blowing up around you or you're getting shot at.
Yeah,
I
and
wore probably 50 pounds worth of gear, okay, when I was overseas. It was hot as fuck. I mean, you don't have time to be cute, okay? Nobody's cute
and
over
they got
there.
their hair done and their makeup on, and they're shooting a fucking M16. It's like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
You
Now
did,
there's some
your hair and
pretty
your makeup.
women.
You did your hair and your makeup before you went to the shooting range. Okay.
There's some pretty women that, are in the military. I don't want
Yeah.
you to think
No.
they're dogs or
Oh
whatever.
no, that don't
But
get me. Yeah, absolutely.
that's not the focus. The
Right.
focus is learning how to kill or avoid from being killed. That is your focus, okay? And, not to say that battlefield romances don't happen. I married another soldier. It happens, but it's not like that. We didn't fall in love because I was cute. We fell in love because he was persistent, and he wouldn't leave me alone. So that's how
That's
that
great.
happened.
That's great.
Um,
And you know what though? To a certain extent though, um, you know, like from a tactical perspective, her job is what she does is important in because you can't fight wars or do really anything without manpower. So
right.
it is smart, and I'll give him that. Like that is a smart fucking tactical move. But just since COVID, there's been so many like weird little, and it's not just that, it's just one of the examples I thought of, but just weird little psyop TikTokers, you know, and they're
Yeah.
all, and not just trying to get you to join the military, but all sorts of things. When it was the vaccination, it was the vaccination. When whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still a thing. I don't really care, but yeah, it's just like it's psychological warfare is what it is, and I think I talked about this either I don't know if it was last week on the show or if it was on the immersive experience 2 days ago, but I think it was immersive experience because I had a line where I had mentioned 9/11, and we tried not to get into the conspiracies too much on that
Yeah.
show, but basically the one thing that I did say was that our government always wants us either united with them, like, oh yeah, go America, or fighting with each other, because those two things keep us from fighting them and questioning what they're doing at all times.
Yes, it's wag the dog. It's look over here. Don't look at what we're doing.
Mhm.
So you're right about that, and I think you handled that really well. Because that's just such a big rabbit hole, and that's just not the purpose of why you were there. So, I
Yeah.
think you deflected pretty well. Because you could go on
Yeah.
for days about that.
Yeah. Well, actually, did you watch it live or were you?
I didn't watch it live. I had
Oh,
to catch a replay.
Oh, awesome.
Um,
That's cool. Thank
but
you.
I caught the replay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And yeah, we did say and that's the thing. I never shy away from letting it be known that I'm not afraid to share my opinions. But it was like there's a time and a place and whatnot. And it was an interview about me, so I was kind of like more willing to like, okay, this is kind of my views on the subject, but then like let's move to another subject because that's not really the topic. We could do a whole podcast just on that.
yeah.
We do have a couple comments. My dad said ripple in the pond. He said it starts with one little pebble making the ripple and spreads across the pond. Question everything and do your own research.
Yes.
Absolutely. I agree with
And
every single one of those statements.
I really love that he said that, because if I could put one contribution out into the world, it would be to question everything, and that it's okay to question everything, and it's okay to explore theories, even theories that you've been psyoped to believe. Oh no, don't do that. Oh, that's never acceptable. Well, no, wait a second. Let's just talk about it. Okay,
Mhm.
let's talk. All right. Talking and doing are two different things. And so let's explore what's really going on here, and let's explore what's really acceptable. And, in the process of it, okay, we're going to find the truth one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normalize the truth.
Yep.
Normalize talking. You're freezing up a little bit. Oops. Oh, I think you froze up a little bit. Oh yeah, there you go. You're back. What I was saying is, yeah, absolutely normalize speaking about the truth. That's the only way anything's gonna ever get better. Absolutely. I'm gonna bring Poetless up to see what she thought about it. And let her give her thoughts by all means. Go ahead.
I just want to tell you, I love the way you use your words to explain things. Like, I can really see the picture, the bigger picture, like the underlining parts on what you really want us to really dive into and pay attention to. I like the way how you plan everything up, but you really got to read between your words. I like your wordplay. But I love your piece. It's definitely, well, the book is definitely hitting on something. I definitely have to go and buy your book off of Amazon so I can catch it from the beginning.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we only have so much time. And of course, I want to give time to you and the other artists here. But I did want to read that line about, he who controls this controls the fear, who controls both controls the world. I
That
wanted
is
to
true.
kind of get that out there and get you thinking about that. Right. So that's why I hoped I explained a little bit of the lead up well enough that you could get what was going on. Um, but yeah, that's the important thing, is that, okay, why is there all this talk about global warming? Is it really happening, or is it just they want you freaked out so that
Mm-hmm.
you'll behave a certain way,
That's,
and where did these fires really come from,
mm-hmm.
you know? So I
It's,
just want you
it's,
thinking about it. I'm not telling you to believe what I believe or
Muted.
believe what the animals are saying is going on. I just want you to think about it and think of other possibilities other than what the TV, the glowing boxes, I call them. That's what the animals call them. you know,
mm-hmm.
You have such good quotable moments too, like that quote and then the quote about the evil in the poem, like such good like quotable moments that just like kind of encapsulate, like you almost don't even need to hear the rest of the piece, like you do, but like you somehow find a way, like in each of your pieces or whatever, like there's just one or two lines that like encapsulate all of what you're trying to say and encapsulate it so well. And I really really appreciate that, as someone who tries to make every single line in one of my pieces be one of those quotes, and I don't succeed, you know, but that's to me like to me when I write is like every line that I write, if it's not something that I'm like, oh man, that's like a just a Facebook post in and of itself. You know what I mean? Each quote for me has to be like that could be a post, or that could be like a quote or whatever. And you really like are really good at finding those good quotable moments that just encapsulate everything. I really love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on here, and thank you for being back and sharing your amazing stories with us. We're going to have Poetless read us out, and then we will, I guess I'll bring you up here to see what you thought about her final piece, and then we will get up out of here. My dad said, eventually I will have a copy of everyone's books. I have ordered both. That is fucking awesome. Thank you, Dad. And yeah, so what's your piece for us?
I think I'm gonna name this from Brand New.
Brand new. Ooh, okay. Is it brand new?
Yep, it definitely is.
All right. Fuck yeah. I like it. There's a fucking there's a song that I like called Brand New. I forget who's it. Oh, it's by Mercules. I don't know if you know Mercules, but go check out Mercules Brand New. Good song. Good
I'm gonna do
song.
that as soon as we get off the show. That's gonna be my write out song for tonight.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I'll drop myself out of here and let you get to it.
Some say I'm acting fancy. Some say I might be acting a little dincy. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm starting to tap into the real me. You see, for so long I've been wearing a mask of people telling me who I should be, who I should sound like. I can only be me, and that takes a toll on itself sometimes because I don't know how to be just that. But as I look around and I really sit down and I think about everything that I've been through, I can honestly say that I feel brand new. I mean, I'm not talking in the sense of I'm bragging or anything, but I want to pat myself on the back because I've been through it. Some things really had me in a chokehold, and I thought I wasn't going to make it through it, but I got it. Like something like that spider that always seems to get to the top and always fall down. Or maybe I'm something like the butterfly. As soon as they come out of the cocoon, it's always flying around. Maybe I'm something like a lizard that just want to sit there and just be mellow. Either way, I want you to know that I'm acting brand new. Just like that snake that's coming up out of his new skin shed me through because I'm no more crying. I'm not feeling no more blues. Catch me in the high sea, high skies, flying all around blue because the clouds is the only thing that I want to see through. I guess you can say me and the new creation ain't so bad at all. I wish I would have did a couple of years ago. But either way, I just want to say thank you for giving me another chance because now I'm really going to act brand new. In peace.
God damn. Fuck yeah. I really, really, really love that, man. And I really love the whole you know, just the concept of transforming and, you know, you know what? They say that all your cells regenerate every 7 years. So you
Thank
are a
you.
different person than you were 7 years ago. Like physically, literally, physically, your body is completely different. All the cells in it. And but just there's something really spiritually like um empowering about um getting through a certain phase of your life and
Mm-hmm.
just realizing that those things they happened, you can't change them, but the fact that you're still here is a gift, and uh, that in itself is a form of power. And as we were saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And you know, just I like what you said at the end about like, you know, I've been given, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, I've been given this gift of like, you know, still being here. I'm going to use it to, you know,
Yep.
to be brand new. You know, you better believe I'm going to act brand new because, you know, it wouldn't be worth, you know, it wouldn't be worth it living. There's a difference between living and being alive, and you
Exactly.
can be alive without
Not
living.
living. Yep.
Living is to me pushing yourself every day to not only be better but be brand new, be someone, you know. And that doesn't mean you have to change your whole personality.
Mm.
It you can stand on the things you've always stood on. Just you just build, you take
Yep.
the things that have made you stronger, the things you've learned from, and you build on them like a foundation. And like with a car or a building, like a car is a perfect example, right? Actually, uh great news. I'm actually super excited. I fixed my fucking car today for the first time in 2 years.
Yay.
But the example I was going to make is that when you replace, so say you replace an engine on a car, even if everything else is the same, that engine goes back to 0 mile. Like you could have 300,000 miles on it, and then all of a sudden it's a 0 mile car, and it's
Yep.
right, and it has been reborn. And I feel like as artists, we are always kind of remaking ourselves in the same way. You always, as an artist, I am constantly tweaking, taking parts out and replacing little parts, like, I did in my car. Now I have 2 new CV axles in there. And,
Yep.
so like, and eventually, right, if I kept right now, if I say I replaced the other 2 CV axles, and then I replaced this and I replaced that, I got new rims, eventually the car, it would
It's
look
gonna
the
be brand
same,
new.
but it would be brand new. And
Yep.
that's essentially what we're doing as artists. I feel like in our pieces is we kind of break ourselves down, because to put those parts in, I had to take apart the old ones and throw them out. So we have to
Yep.
break ourselves down to build ourselves back up, and build ourselves brand new. And I love how you encapsulated that so well. Leave it to a man to use cars to describe complex emotional issues. But yeah, no, I love how you encapsulated that. It was fantastic.
Just like I have a question for you for the week, and it's for everybody for the week. And you know how in science they say us and flowers and rose, we pretty much the same. How we grow and everything. So check it. What if a flower knew that the soil that he was in was killing him? What about if he had enough conscience to get out of that soil and rebuild and regrow himself in another soil that'll help him live? You think he'd do it?
Well, let me tell you. Let me ask you this, or I would guess I would rebuttal with this is, I think that that already happens to a certain extent, and I'll say, and it's with acorns, right?
Mm.
That is exactly what is happening with acorns.
Yep.
It is that tree knowing it is going to die someday. That tree knows it's going to die or fall one day, and it is it is already going to be reborn before it falls. It's a new one, or 5 more next to it are
All the
being
way to it. Yep.
reborn. So I think that already happens in nature a lot more than you'd think it does.
But
With
as people,
with animals and with plants. And to answer kind of the deeper question that you're asking is sort of, yes, I believe that humans have that same ability,
but we
and
don't
that
use it though.
and right, and that's exactly what I was going to say, is that we don't often exercise that ability, and we say trapped in the same soil.
Mm.
We let it eat us, instead of taking the effort to grow and move and um grow past what is poisoning us. Yeah, I really like that analogy. And leave it to a girl to use flowers to explain a deep, complex emotional issue.
Because I've been the reason why I used it because years ago I remember my mother. She used to have this rosebud bush in front of her house, in front of our house, but it would die during the winter. And that's what I realized. Every time it would come back even brighter, even prettier. Like it wasn't the same season after
Mhm.
season after season. Until one year, I guess it just stopped deciding to grow and just killed itself. And I had to sit there and think, like, what is something that we did? Like, didn't we do anything on that part, or was it just this time? So it's
Mm,
just like with us, we know what we need, but we just won't go to it. We know what we need to do. Like I can sit here all day and say, you know what, I need to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. But if I'm not digging myself about the soil that I'm in, then I can't complain about it. I can't say
mhm.
nothing about it. I just get the water and just water me in it and just be comfortable.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. I'm gonna get Patricia up here and see what her take is on it. Hey.
Hey, so one, I guess, quote that kind of epitomizes what you're talking about is bloom where you're planted.
Mm-hmm.
Is how I see things. Now, of course, you want to remove yourself from bad situations, but you can always, the really bad ones if they're abusive or whatever. But I think almost anywhere you go, you can find something good and you can make something out of it,
You
and you can make yourself brand new. You can take limes and lemons and make Sprite or lemonade, as the saying goes. Um, but I really love the exploration that's in your poetry. I think it's extremely therapeutic. And, talk about this being a therapy session. I think there's a lot of value in it, especially for young people or people that are struggling. So great job.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
try to express myself in a way where it is understandable to everybody on everybody level to some degree. Where
Yeah.
no matter what brain wave you on or what energy frequency, at some point you're gonna understand what I'm saying because I'm on so many different levels. So at some point I try to stay balanced out with my message. It's not easy, but I try to.
I
Yeah.
fucking love it, and you do a fantastic job. Both of you do. And both of you, and I really mean this when I say it. You guys are some of my favorite fucking artists that I have ever met, like ever, or had the pleasure of experiencing their work. Like, I could not imagine a world without you guys' work in it. So please, please keep writing books. Please keep doing what you do because it is just fucking amazing. And please keep coming on here. And I meant to say, Patricia, two things before we go. First thing, you might have put out another Chester book, but we still want more Chester. And I know every character has to have an end at some point. But we need more Chester. And the second thing is, I noticed that you have a little cat lamp or a little cat something on your nightstand, and it's
Yes.
just like a little cute cat. It made me think of Chester.
So this would actually be Misty. This
Oh,
would be
Misty.
Misty.
Oh,
So
she's
Misty
so
is a
cute.
kitten. She's the Siamese kitten, and she's afraid of heights.
Oh,
Yeah, and we'll get into that in the next book. But you do see a little bit of her personality. She's the cute little kitten, and she's the one. She basically becomes a symbol of freedom to the truckers. So I told you the cats and the dogs go up to Canada, and they're actually doing the field work, right? While the reptiles are doing the white hat and feeding them directions over the communication devices, which are their tinfoil hats. Well, she goes up there too. And the first thing the truckers do is notice how cute she is. And they basically, drape her in this Canadian flag and they give her this crown of like red and white roses. And she's basically the symbol of freedom for them. So she becomes like the mascot. But yeah, this is
I love that.
Misty. I don't have a Chester yet. Maybe I'll get a Chester for Christmas. But yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do? You need to start like, this is a great merch idea. You need to start selling custom stuffed animals like with Chester, and he comes with his crazy eyes and his hat.
that'd be so cute.
It comes with the like crooked eyes, like from the the exact artwork. I want that made into a stuffed animal. And he's just like, but I want the stuffed animal. Like he's like all propped on all fours, like he is in the picture,
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had the picture up right now. I don't think I have it on here.
I can
Unfortunately.
hold on. I can grab it for you really quick. Give me just a second here.
Yeah,
But
if you have the book, yeah.
So Bosch Foston did this. I don't know if I told you that before, but he does such great work. I'm telling you what. And he said that the Chester was one of the most fun things he'd ever drawn.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
here,
must
I
have been
found it.
amazing.
Yeah. Can I send it to you over Messenger or will you?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
see.
I can.
Okay.
Oh, echo. Hold on. Let me mute.
Did you get him? If I can put him here.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I got it. Sorry, it took me just a second there. All right, here he is. Chester. I fucking today's conspiracy theorist is tomorrow's prophet. Oh my god, I love it. And I need that stuffed animal right now. I need a hoodie, I need a hat, I need a stuffed animal. I need it all right now. That's
That
what I
is
want for
too
Christmas.
cute.
All right,
I'm asking
I'll look
I'm
into it. I'll see what I can do.
that'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
but
Even if I could get a dude, I put Chester right here next to Spider-Man. Chester would go right here next to Spider-Man.
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, he's on the front cover of the first book, Tales of American Idiocy. So if you bought a hard copy of that, you could hang that up. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you can print off what I sent you too. That might work also. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I'm definitely just gonna have to go buy the book anyway. Because I need the book, and I need a safe place to put it too, so that it doesn't get ruined. That's my only fucking problem with having like physical copy books is they always get ruined, and I'm terrible with books and losing things as well. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go get your book and. Yeah, no, that's just an idea for the future. I would buy a Chester stuffed animal for sure.
I would.
Would you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One for the car, one for my desk. Absolutely. Chester needs to go everywhere.
He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. And again, I mean, he's one of those things. It's like I sometimes forget he's not real because I am trying to work. I am working on a third book. I am brainstorming it now. I want to get more into the weather mod.
Chester!
You know, and of course he's got a
can't wait.
Russian girlfriend in this book. So
I can't wait. This is great.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been fucking amazing. As always, thank you so much for being part of the community, and thank you for being part of the show, and just thank you for being amazing people and amazing artists.
Well,
And speaking your truth with the word. Yeah, absolutely. Everyone else, if you want to come on the show, message me on Facebook at Dylan Lawler or lostboy420x@gmail.com. Follow us on all these platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and anywhere else you find your podcast. Catch us next Saturday live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern for our New Year's episode. And I believe, Poetless, are you going to be on there?
Yeah.
All right. We will see Poetless next week for the New Year's episode. And then right after that, on the 28th, we got our Christmas episode. So stay tuned, everybody. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. And before we go, I'll pull a quote from one of my favorite musical artists. And he says this at about almost every award show that he goes to. And he said it at the concert that I went to when I saw him. And it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. The windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason, because what's behind us or what's in front of us is so much more important than what's behind us. So keep focusing on the road ahead, and only check your mirrors and your blind spots when you need to, and just use what you've gone through as fuel to keep pushing forward. And thank you everybody so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Peace out.
Good night. Thank you, Dylan.